Extract from Flame of Liberty. While her hostess fetched the tea things, Ketis looked about her. She'd thought of this house many times, but memory had played her a little false. It was smaller than she remembered, for one thing. Here, I made anikron tea. I remember that you liked it. Melidin seated herself gracefully opposite Ketis and poured out the pale green liquid into the plain earthenware cups. There was little ornament in the house, less than in the home of a wealthy trader, for instance, honour being more important than possessions to the military caste. Melidin's gown, however, though the regulation yellow, was of silk and embroidered in brown across the bodice. Her hair was in the usual braids, but the narrow headband around her temples was set with topazes, one of the permitted jewels for her caste. As an officer's wife, she had a certain standing to maintain. So, you're not a child any longer. Perhaps we should call you Ketisfir, or is it Fiertel? No, my mother doesn't belong to the imperial clan, only my father. Kanta is Frostel, of course, but we would both be offended if you started to use it. My dear, if we met outside these walls, I should have to. In fact, pleased though I am to see you, I'm not sure you should have come. I needed to. I can't talk to my mother. She's far too bound up with concepts of duty to understand feelings. And I've never made any friends of my own caste here. The girls in the palace seem quite brainless. Well, I'm here. What is it? Are you betrothed? Not that I know of, but I may be the last to hear. Anyway, I don't believe I'll be returning to the estate after the festival. Is there anyone you like? I hardly know anyone. Last time I was here, I wasn't permitted to attend any but the most public events. Tomorrow I'm dining with the court. My mother told me yesterday. Today may be the last day. Of freedom? Don't think like that. If you marry a courtier, you'll spend a large part of the year in the city, have your own townhouse, a chance to make friends. I suppose so. I hadn't thought of it that way. I know you love the estate and it's home to you. You described it to me so vividly I almost feel I've seen it. But you wouldn't be satisfied much longer with no one but your brothers for company, would you? And the slaves, but I don't suppose you count them. Should I? Wand of Mardin. They are people too, you know. Just because our ancestors had iron swords and theirs hadn't, we believe we were born to rule them. But the Ketone have souls too. You talk like a Magrath. The fire died in Melidin's eyes, and wariness took its place. I shouldn't have expected you to understand. I understand better than you think. Amos, my maid, is one of the best friends I have. I've been thinking a lot about her recently, about why I'm free and she isn't. Knowing your family has helped open my mind a little. You are every bit as beautiful, as intelligent as anyone in the palace, considerably more so than most, and I'm sure your sense of honour is higher, but you can never aspire to move out of your ordained caste, and you and I should not even be friends. Only, Melidin, be careful. You know what happens to the Magraft. I saw a gallows only yesterday on the road up from the wharf. The cult of Frela has seized an authority it was never meant to have. Oh, I venerate the lady, never fear, but there are other gods. We of the military are allowed our Mardin, but most of the others have been chased off into the shadows. But they are waiting still. The priestesses are too powerful. They say the emperor never makes a decision without consulting the Felfalcar. It's hard to divorce the one from the other, isn't it? Ketis had considered this question many times since her elder sister had been chosen for the sisterhood and become so insufferably arrogant. I mean, the worship of the lady from the Felmenar. But the sisters are only people, and some of them are certainly flawed. Melidin smiled slightly. We must definitely not have a conversation like this outside this house. Of course not. But I trust you. And I hope you're prepared to put your revolutionary principles into practice and let me help with the cooking. Can you cook? No, not at all, but I can learn. She was arranging plates and knives with Ludya, who had just returned, in the main room, when a step made her turn. A young man stood there in the uniform of a basic soldier, brown linen kilt, sandals cross-laced to the knee, broad leather belt with double sheaths, and shoulder-length hair drawn up through a leather thong on the crown of his head and falling in a tail behind. Ketis stared at him, as if she'd never seen him before, and he returned the stare with equal amazement. Finally, she found her voice. Rictor. And if you want to know what happens, you'll have to buy the book.